we need to use the chain rule. And that is my final answer. So in this video, we have this implicit equation, and we need to find the derivative. And then find the derivative of the implicit function, dy dx. Now we see here that we're deriving with respect to x, since we have dy dx. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this equation, and we're going to derive both sides of the equation with respect to x, so d dx. And in the very first term here, y to the power of 3, we need to derive that with respect to x. And so how do we do that? We know that y is a function of x, or represents a function of x. And we will see here that this y is raised to the power of 3, as shown in the equation. So that means there is a composite function here. So here, y to the power of 3 represents a composite function. So let's say g of f of x, whereby this g of f of x is basically y to the power of 3 is a function inside of a function. And in order to derive this expression or this term, we need to use the chain rule, meaning we will get the derivative of the outer function, g of f of x, multiplied with the derivative of the inner function, meaning f of x. And so what that means for the first term, we will have dy dx, because if we have a function y, the derivative of that will be dy dx if we apply our d dx operator. So we will have dy dx, now multiplied the derivative of the outer function right here. So what we will have is 3 times y squared using the power rule. So I'll just highlight them together in order not to get confused. So which is the derivative of which? This dy dx is basically f prime of x. Plus, now we have this function, or this term, 4 times x to the power of 2. Deriving that is easy. That will be 4 times 2 times x using the power rule. And then minus, we just have a y. We'll have dy dx. And the derivative of 4 is a constant, so the derivative of that will be a 0. And then 0, derivative of that, also a constant, will be 0. So, rewriting this expression again in another way, we will have 3 times y squared times dy dx. And now I'll get like terms together, or pull them closer together, and we will have minus dy dx. And what I'll do here is this term with the x only, I'll bring it to the other side of the equation, so to the right side of the equation. And now I'll have is equal to 8 times x. So I'll realize here that I have like terms together. And these like terms, I can basically factorize them. If you got any unsolved problem in the world of numbers and equations, make sure to comment it down below and we can get it solved. So what I can have is dy dx multiplied into parentheses 3 times y squared minus 1 is equal to 8 times x. And now in the exercise, he basically wants me to find dy dx. And that's very easy now because I have dy dx here, the term alone. And all I need to do to find that, or to have an expression that equates that in terms of an implicit function, I'll have dy dx is equal to 8 times x divided by this expression. So what I did is I divided both sides of this equation right here by 3y squared minus 1, and that is my final answer. Don't forget to subscribe to Sam's Education channel and hit the notifications bell to receive regular updates and access to a variety of solved exercises. See you in the next video.